How I made the rest of my workbenches, miterstation, and tablesaw outfeed table. Let's get into it. We'll start with the mitersaw stand, namely the base legs and cross beams. I cut the legs to 32¼ inches to facilitate the 3/4 inch ply top and the 3-inch base of the compound sliding miter saw so that the table would sit flush with the top of the workbench router station I built in the last episode. The crossbeams were cut to facilitate the width and depth of the miter base. I secured the crossbeams with screws so that they would sit within the crossbeams of the already created workbench and the second workbench that we'll get through in this edit. Then anchored both sets of the legs together. After that, I cut out the tabletop from a sheet of 3/4 inch ply. Then anchored the miter saw into place. Next, I cut out the lower miter station shelf. Clearing enough room for the legs. And then putting it into place. After that, I knew I would want a tray to hold the marking tools and measuring tapes I notoriously lose track of when working at the miter saw. So I used a few scraps of 3/4 inch ply and quickly put that together and anchored it to the stand. Then turned to making it mobile with levering casters. Leaving just the paint job to do, because why not? With the miter stand knocked out, I got to work on the second large mobile workbench / outfeed table, cutting the legs down to 35¼ inch and the cross beams to 25 inches and 4 feet and 7 inches respectively. Then securing them together to create the stand. After that, I used the Kreg track system to cut out the top and lower shelf cabinet base from 3/4 inch ply. With those fit right and the lower shelf anchored into place, I moved on to the drawer cabinet. Cutting the 2 side panels to fit between the upper crossbeam and the lower shelf, before anchoring the drawer tracks into place. Then I slid the panels into the workbench and used a few crossbeams to keep them square. After that, I used the table saw to cut out the panels for all 3 drawers. Then use the nail gun to secure them together. And anchored the mirrored drawer tracks to the bottom of each drawer. With the drawers in place, I secured the tabletop to the workbench. Then, again, added lever and casters to make it mobile. With the workbench structure done, I got to cutting the pools for the drawers. Then painted their faces to match the router bench for good measure. After that, it was time for a coat of paint on the rest. I used tung oil to seal the top. I may come back through to use a more anti-friction agent, but we'll see. And that's a wrap. Even though this space is bigger than any shop I've had before, I still think it's crucially important that these benches serve more than one purpose. And I'm pretty excited with how functional they've turned out. Now it's finally time to start building some furniture again. Until next time.